The most anticipated Fed meeting is now officially out of the way. So in today's show, we're going to have a look at what this means for Bitcoin in the short term, the medium time frame, and the high time frame. We'll talk about what Jerome Powell said over there. He endorsed Bitcoin, and we'll talk about the quantitative easing versus quantitative tightening and what this means going forward for the altcoin sector specifically. So smash the like button, hit the bell notification, and subscribe to the channel if you're not ready to subscribe. Let's get straight into the show content over here. You can see, of course, a lot of the coins over here are starting to at least bounce on the lower time frames, like on the daily, as well as on the hourly, right? We're seeing some big gainers over here, specifically within Hype. That's one of the coins that we had been looking at. So we'll have an assessment of where these coins are. Are they actually confirming major local lows? What does this mean for the crypto market going forward? Because you did have Jerome Powell coming out and saying banks are perfectly equipped to hold Bitcoin. We're not against innovation. So giving a little bit of an endorsement to the crypto sector. And if you look at 𝗕𝗢𝗕𝗕𝗏's tweet over here as well, he says, by rubber stamping crypto for US banking, Jerome Powell has now raised the Bitcoin range. What was previously, the range where we're looking down towards potentially a sweep below $90,000. He's giving this at least a probability in his books of the new range low being $95,000, which is where price temporarily dropped below a couple of weeks ago, right? So keep an eye on that level. If we do come back down into that zone, that is probably the range lows. I like his charts, his levels that he has over here. He also has the range high at $125,000. So I've also spoken about the significance of that particular level, but it's not all sunshine, rainbows, and butterflies, as the saying goes, because if we do look at the Federal Reserve FOMC statement, which came out yesterday, unfortunately, we still remain in quantitative tightening, right? So as I dropped in the Discord over here, you can zoom in and highlight into that area. The committee will continue reducing its holdings of treasury securities and agency debt and agency mortgage-backed securities. The committee is strongly committed to supporting maximum employment and returning inflation to its 2% objective, right? So what that means is no loose monetary policy yet, which is the environment that altcoins like to thrive in. But the charts are the ultimate source of truth. And if you can find coins that are strong and are still putting in uptrends, I think that it's fair game to continue to play into those until such time as, the can gets kicked down the road and they eventually move into QE, which now your next date that you have to be looking towards is going to be March. So the most important FOMC meeting is now behind us until the next one, right? The next one is in March, right? So really, really important to focus on that. But the question is, should you be betting against the seasonality, right? So if we're still in quantitative tightening, which creates a really tough environment specifically for crypto, meaning not Bitcoin assets, not Bitcoin as an asset class, but all the other coins, Ethereum, Solana, etc., really struggles in this type of environment. Should you be betting against the seasonality, though? And I think the answer is no, right? Because seasonally speaking, this is historically one of the best months that we're about to go into in February for Bitcoin, and even more so for Ethereum, which would, of course, indirectly affect the other cryptos, since Ethereum is kind of like the biggest blue chip altcoin that everyone's going to look towards to see which direction the market wants to take. So if you look at Bitcoin over here, on average, putting in 15.66% returns. And if you isolate that specifically to the final year of the bull run, which is the post-halving year, so that would be the equivalent of 2017, we saw 23% gains. 2021, we saw 36% gains for Bitcoin. What does it mean for, of course, 2025? If we look at Ethereum over here, well, Ethereum put on average 17% gains, with 2017 being 48%, 2021 not that great, 8%. But if you look just before that, it's because January had already put in a stellar 78% run. And you can see March as well for 2021 was 34%. So the question remains, well, what will we get over here in February, since January was actually a negative return? And that was one of the first times that we've seen that, specifically in, of course, the final year of the bull run, that being the post-halving year. Only time will tell, right? Ultimately, I wouldn't want to bet against the seasonality. So far, everything is following exactly according to plan. And the most important thing over here is, if you look at what Bitcoin is doing, which is going to be the rising tide that can help to lift all ships, right? People also look to Bitcoin. If Bitcoin is doing really, really well, the crypto market is considered to follow, right, at some point in time. So you can see over here, Bitcoin currently trying to break out once again above this range high level. This is looking at the weekly time frame. You can see the way that price rejected at these candles. So failed over there on the 2nd of December, failed on the 9th of December, where price couldn't close above that level, opened the next candle over there on the 16th of December and dropped below, wicked into that level on the 6th of January and failed, wicked through that level on the 13th of January and failed, put in a little bit of a topping candle over here on the 20th of January, and now once again attempting to get above that level. All whilst you have rising support underneath over here at that key $89,000 level. This is still significant despite what you have over here from 𝗪𝗪𝗙𝗪 saying, the 90% probability range low is now going to be at 95K. Yes, that is still possible, but we need to just give it a little bit more time, right? A little bit more time. This could be the breakout candle, and I'll show you exactly why in today's show. Again, guys, smash the like button, right? So if you do get the breakout candle, you're looking at the move up here, which is going to be around 16% to take you into that 122K level. And that is the measured move off of the rectangle breakout, which we're focusing on over here. So still remaining cautiously bullish, but very, very close to repositioning into confidently and aggressively bullish. If we do start to get a weekly close above these levels, literally just above this white line over here at 104,470, that will basically be all systems go, and you'll be looking for a continuation and a breakout over there. And if you look at the trends, right, this is the 5-day time frame using the short, the medium, and the high time frame moving average. This is a full bullish trend with price above all of these key levels over here. And if we close this candle in the next 16 hours green like this, that is incredibly bullish, and I would expect rapid continuation, and very, very quickly, I think we'll start to meet this $122,000 target. Now, if we look on the other 5-day time frame chart, so we have the 5-day time frame with the moving averages over here, and then we have this one over here with the stochastic RSI. You can see it fully turning back towards the upside over there, and most importantly, and very significantly, you have the Bollinger Band width percentile, which is a volatility indicator, just starting to leave the station, right? The train is just about to leave the station. It's currently situated at about 9%. Following this 5-day close, if we do close this candle green and anywhere above current levels, well, that would simply push us above the 10 percentile mark, which means you have the presence of a expansive move that's about to take place. It's essentially confirmed, right? You're looking for the big move up, and I would expect that move to start to find its extremes. Of course, when you see this Bollinger Band width percentile running up over here into this yellow box, same thing would probably happen simultaneously with price, and the same thing would simultaneously happen over here with the stochastic RSI. So all in all, it's all lining up for a perfect trade, despite what the sentiment may suggest. I know the Fear and Greed Index says that we're still in greed, but at least the people that I speak to, using a more human approach, as well as looking at things like the funding rates, I definitely think that we've dabbled into the fearful zone over the last couple of days and weeks, which is probably set in the major low, right? That may be the confirmed low. If we do close at these mentioned levels that I've just given you, you have essentially confirmed the low, and you can see it on this chart. This has been the plan for a long period of time. We said it's just a question of, are we putting in high highs and high lows and starting a new uptrend? Or are we still range bound? At the end of the day, we did expect a reaction exactly off the mid-range over here into the high volume profile, which is what we got. And we got multiple candles closing above that level. And I said, if you do start to close above these daily candles at 104,900, so call it $105,000 on a daily, what that means is you've essentially confirmed this as your higher low. The higher low at that point would be set, and that allows the bulls to try and challenge, of course, this range high level. Now, that will be even more significant if you start to close above this range high level over here. That's where you can expect rapid acceleration through towards that $120,000 zone. And then only time will tell if we start to see a drop in the Bitcoin dominance from that point in time. And most of the Bitcoin traders would say, well, probably the upside at this point is limited. The risk to reward is skewed to be longing Bitcoin at $120,000, and they probably start to reposition into altcoins, right? So there's still, we need a lot more confirmations. It's still too early to tell, but we should get some answers towards the end of this week, right? So we're looking at that over there. We do also have support over here from the 9 and 18 exponential moving average, which is currently holding price really nicely towards the upside. This is, again, going to be a challenging area. That is your range high. Remember, we do have the presence of course, the bear moon, which is printed, bear moon typically, suppresses price action. Why does it work? Well, because it controls people's emotions, and emotions essentially control the markets, right? So we'll continue to focus on this area over here. Closing candles above will confirm the breakout. If you are a scared trader that's looking for major confirmations, all you need to do is wait for a couple of daily candles closing above the top side of the trading range, above this $106,000 level, and then you start to break out of the trading range and you can look at continuation, right? So far, so good. Everything is looking good, and despite quantitative tightening still being a factor, at the end of the day, this cycle is following almost exactly to what we saw in 2017. Now, of course, it can deviate, but if you look at the 2017 cycle, the deviations have been really short-lived, right? So the orange cycle is 2017, which was an absolutely rock star stellar cycle where you got massive runs. And the purple is this cycle, right? So sometimes we're slightly below, other times we're slightly above, but for the most part, we've been oscillating almost to perfection. The interesting part over here is if we're going to continue to maintain that amazing trajectory, this is what you're looking forward to next, right? This is where the banana zone should actually start to take place, and you should see some rapid moves occurring within the crypto markets. And what I like about that is it all lines up with what we're seeing over here with the expansion of the BBWP. This is supporting evidence to show you that this could be coming next. But as the title suggests, should you be going 100% risk on into the crypto markets? Well, by the definition of what you're seeing on Bitcoin, the answer would be yes for Bitcoin. But the answer for altcoins may be a different story, because yes, we know altcoins continue to bleed out against Bitcoin, right? So the penultimate point at which I think a switch from Bitcoin into altcoins may take place would be following this next move up into about this $120,000 to $130,000 level. Of course, I can't give you an exact to the dollar price target, and the reason why is because it depends on the momentum. When momentum gets really heated, you can easily slice from 120 to even 140, right? These are small percentages between the difference, right? The difference between hitting that 120 and 140 is a 15% candle. Pretty easy for Bitcoin. We've seen crazier things before, right? So as it currently stands, this is following to perfection, which means now would be the worst time ever to give up hope. I know what the sentiment feels like. I've seen the messages. I know that people want to capitulate. They're over crypto. They're sick of it. You can actually vote in the poll below. Let me know what you think comes first, $90,000 Bitcoin or $120,000 Bitcoin. Vote in the poll section below. At the end of the day, we must see volume come back into the market off of this next move, right? And what we're tracking over here is the daily exchange volume at the 7-day moving average. It's still down, which is expected because this is based off of yesterday's data, right? If you look at the block over here, the data was updated on the 29th, right? We need today's data to see what happens next. So off of yesterday's data, this is completely expected. And I mentioned this yesterday. The reason it was expected was, of course, because we're going into the FOMC, which we knew that speculators, which drive a massive amount of volume, these are the short-term traders, would be de-risking, right? The volume is driven by speculators, leverage traders jumping in and out of trades back and forth all the time. The volume is not necessarily driven by investors who are holding spot long over time, right? Because they make a deposit onto exchanges once, that spikes the volume, they purchase their coins and they hold, right? As simple as that. So we do need to see this turn back up. It's a very key critical level over here. I spoke about it yesterday. Failure to turn this back up means that the wind is essentially out of these sails, right? And if you don't have wind in the sails, what's going to happen? There's going to be a slowdown and ultimately you'll stop, right? And markets never really stop. It means that they're probably going to fall. So there are some key points over here. We will update you on this tomorrow. Now, if you are looking to enter into the market for the very first time, or even if you're a seasoned trader and investor, there is an amazing opportunity for you over here, specifically with KSEX, right? KSEX over here on the top is a brand new exchange. Why is it a good opportunity for you? Well, it's 0% spot fees, right? You pay absolutely naught, 0% on deposits, 0% on withdrawals, 0% on spot, and there's 0% on maker fees if you're trading leverage, right? So have a look at that. There's a link in the description below specifically for that. What's more important about this exchange is not only can you claim $370 sign-up bonus, but for the first 100 people, what we've done is we've extended the opportunity by 1 day for the first 100 people to get into Whale School. We have started. We had an absolutely incredible session yesterday. Jump into Whale School. Use that link below. If you use that specific link, that will grant you access into Whale School, right? They'll use the user ID that you use to sign up over there. The first 100 people you can get into Whale School today. Use the link in the description below to K6, claim your sign-up bonus. And also there's no KYC, right? So you don't need to give any of your personal information over there. So if you want to buy crypto with no fees, this is the place to do it, right? No KYC, no fees, amazing opportunity over there. All right, let's go into the stocks for a little bit because I know we do have some Tesla bulls over here. And if you look over here, Tesla reported worse than expected fourth quarter financial results with a notable miss on automotive gross margins, right? So basically missed, right? Tesla shares down 3% in after hours trading. Let's have a look at Tesla over here. Also, what I want to mention, amazing adjustment. If you go back and forth over here on Banter Bubbles, you now have a stock feature, right? So you can see all the different stock trades over here. NVIDIA down. We got, what is that? Probably Oracle down, GEV down, McDonald's. We'll keep that there for the end of the cycle for job applications. But McDonald's on the list as well. If you do want to find out more about these, remember they're giving you on Banter Bubbles all the different news articles relevant to price and how it would affect price. But going back to Tesla, right? Going back to Tesla over here, what does this mean for Tesla? What I find interesting, I know there's a couple of moving parts and lines all over the place over here. Maybe we'll dim this one a little bit. Let's put that on 1 point over there. So what we're initially focusing on was this downtrend over here. We saw price holding the uptrend. We came into a key horizontal. That was the trifecta trade. I think we got this trade twice in a row. Once was a great entry over here. Then you had another great entry that came in over here. There we go into that zone. And now you've had a massive push. It should be expected that there would be some profit taking just based on the technical analysis. What I'm looking at over here for Tesla specifically is this as now your major range high, which you can see that was the initial rejection that led to the big move down. And if this is a confirmed deviation, which is a bit too soon to tell, but if this is a confirmed deviation, there is a fair value gap situated slightly below. Fair value gap is simply a big inefficiency candle, right? When you have a large candle like that, you can expect on a weekly time frame, especially it holds higher weighting, that price could, it doesn't have to, but it could, and it does a high significant amount of the time come back into that area to fill that. Now, this creates a wonderful opportunity for those of you that are, high time frame thinkers. You're looking at trading over a long time frame. Because if this simultaneously occurs with Bitcoin putting in some sort of a local top or major top, while simultaneously you have Tesla dropping down into this fair value gap and finding some form of support over here, this could be an amazing rotation to take some of your profits out of Bitcoin and move into Tesla. I will, of course, update you specifically in Whale Room. Remember, Whale Room is the private Discord. We do have a section as well dedicated to traditional markets, things like stocks, right? We give you legacy markets over there. We give you institutional data as well. This is actually quite pricey information. You have to pay quite a lot to keep these, to get these tidbits of information. So I will update you if I do that. Remember the fair value gap theory. I do teach at as well in Whale School. You can get in, sign up today. Sign up to K6, first 100 people, and you'll be in, right? It's free. It's completely free. Looking to the stock market over here. So that's Tesla. We can look to the stock market over here. Still looking decent, holding up over here. It's good to see the candles closing above our yellow line that we have at 6,000. As long as we continue to see these candles close, it's going to take a little bit of time, but you need to wait patiently. It's going to take a bit of time, right? A bit of chop in this region over here. And if you can see a higher low forming over there, this should be good because if the stock market goes up, crypto does well. Crypto trades very similarly to the stock market. I would be treating this as high probability of being the low on the stock market, right? Other thing that I'm looking at over here, which is going to be a very important driver for what happens in the crypto markets. We've seen the signs of why Bitcoin is most likely to break out in a big way very soon, as I have portrayed to you. There could, of course, be one or two more little fake out traps that are going to flush people before the big move. Let me just quickly visually depict this for you and what that would look like. Sometimes what we tend to see, focus on the bottom chart over here, is we tend to see a move up, what looks like the start of a breakout, and then it's a fake out. It comes down one more time, reloads following the shakeout, and then it runs. If we do get that, you may see the same thing happen over here on, let's quickly go back to it. You may see the same thing happen over here on the USDT dominance, right? So the USDT dominance is currently putting in what's looking like a descending triangle. And descending triangles have a high probability hit rate of breaking down. What I love about this is they have an even higher probability when the prior trend is down, right? Which it is. On USDT dominance, you can see the prior downtrend leading into the potential for a descending triangle on the daily time frame. So what would that trap scenario look like? Well, we can see we've revisited this area a couple of times. The trap scenario would look like this. You might see price come down, hit this level one more time, while it looks like the BBWP is expanding, for the BBWP to only go down one more time, shaking some people out with another spike up on the USDT dominance, and then it drops through this level. The drop through this level will bring a massive influx of money into crypto, right? This phase over here will most likely be your altcoin season, right? At this point, you probably see everything going absolutely crazy, right? Of course, there are a lot of coins in the market. You have to be somewhat selective, but this is probably where your altcoin season occurs. Patience must be at least practiced, because you need to see acceptance gained underneath the support level for that to actually happen. And we're not at that phase yet. But the important part that I want to discuss over here is when this is likely to happen, right? It's also about the when. Timing the cycle is everything, right? It's all about when you're going long and when you're de-risking and when you're going short. It doesn't help that you were long alt season for months and months and months and months, and then eventually it's alt season and you claim victory. It's all about the timing, right? So when could this potentially happen? Well, we have to give the date somewhere towards the apex. So if it continues to put in these lower lows and lower highs, I would have to say somewhere between February and March, right? Somewhere between February and March, you should start to break this level down. It could happen as soon as this week if, things just were to fall like this. I think that's less likely. I think more likely is probably something like that. And then towards the end of Feb, maybe you start to breach this level and then you rally hard into March, which would be perfectly in alignment with everything in terms of the cycle theory that I've given to you, where we're looking for a major top, possibly again. Trading has moving parts and we need to reassess based on each day's new information, but possibly March, April, right? Okay, so if that does happen, well, it would look good because it lines up perfectly with the seasonality of where we see Ethereum getting some sort of a rebound. So Ethereum has been absolutely clobbered, right? No one's denying that, right? No one's denying that. You can see it on the charts. ETH, BTC, all eyes on this level still. Will it hold, right? Is this, because this is looking like a proper breakdown. It's not even holding this trend line anymore from the falling wedge over here, right? You can see this breaking below. So could this be the final trap? It is possible, right? Could it be the final trap, something like that? Well, if you did see something like that, this could also play out over, towards the end of Q1. So we'll keep an eye on this ETH BTC chart. It is vitally important. You can see the funding is a great indicator to assess when the market is fearful and when the market is greedy. And the market is greedy when you see the orange and yellow, and the market is fearful when you see especially the blues, right? The blue and green. More blue you see, the more green or the more fearful the market is, because that's representative of negative funding. Funding is what traders pay to keep positions open, right? So if the funding goes orange and yellow over here, it means people are willing to pay exorbitant amounts to keep those trades open, right? High interest rates, you pay interest to the exchange, right? There is fees on trading. Unless you're trading over here on KSEX, right? As I mentioned, 0% maker fees. There is 0.01% on the taker fee, right? Actually, it's saying 0 over here as well. Interesting. That is on spot. Maybe you have to look on the futures to see the difference there quickly. Maker, taker, let's just see. There you have it. 0% maker fee, 0.01% on the taker, but spot is 0.0 maker, taker, meaning buying or selling is free, which is great. You can save a lot of money like that. Okay, so when we do look at the funding rates over here, you can see the major bottoms are marked by that negative funding. We got the negative funding, boom, marked the major low, right? We'll keep an eye on this. If there is any additional fear that comes into the market and this spikes down, I will warn you that becomes a major buying opportunity. When we look at the other coins over here, this is taken from the Whale Room Discord under the institutional chart section. You can see BTC funding is going slightly positive, right? Meaning people are willing to open up long positions. Rightfully so. We have all the evidence to suggest we're about to witness a big breakout. But when you look at things like Ethereum, well, that's negative. People are still shorting this. Solana is slightly positive. If you look at NEAR, it's heavily negative. So part of the AI sector is the layer one, heavily negative, WIF slightly positive. And then we have over here 𝗕𝗘𝗫, heavily negative, market incredibly bearish on 𝗕𝗘𝗫 right now, still trying to hold short positions. Why is this relevant? It's relevant and it's important because if Bitcoin does lead the way and start to break out and you have negative funding on some of the altcoins, it opens up the possibility and the opportunity for a short squeeze. What is a short squeeze? A short squeeze is where people are betting that the market is going to go down and they're opening up leverage trades to short the market, to bet that it's going to go down. And if you're wrong on that, there's a liquidation price. And if you get liquidated, it means that you automatically, the exchange will market buy. You get a limit order and a market order. A market order will fulfill at any price as long as it gets the order in, which creates these big pumps. That is the definition of a short squeeze. So something like that could be at least boiling, and we're waiting to see. And if we do get that short squeeze, what you should see on the others chart is a reclaim, which is too soon to tell. But if you do start to get a reclaim above the yellow box over here, which is going to be 365 billion, that most likely confirms your high low. Now, we are not perma bulls over here. We don't expect that this will play out in one candle in a straight line, right? That is incredibly unlikely. But just pay attention to this. This is a weekly candle. Pay attention over the coming weeks, right? Over the coming weeks, over the next 4 to 6 weeks, if you start to see the reclaim of this, that might start to look really, really good for continuation higher and as a major, major high low, right? That is others. Others refers to the entire coin market cap or CoinGecko list, and the miners is the top 10 coins because those hold the highest weighting. So if you want a more sensitive approach to what the altcoin sector is doing, you can look at something like this. Now, I know it feels terrible if you got into the market over here, right? If you bought the top in the start of December, yes, you got annihilated, right? You're down 36% on average. Some of you might be down 80% if you bought a very low cap coin, right? But the good news is that if you do start to reclaim these levels, you can very quickly get back towards those highs, which is about a 50% move. And once you break out above the previous highs on the left-hand side, you're looking at, from current prices, about 123% move spread across all the various different other altcoins. That's on average. On average, it means that if you get this move, altcoins will on average double. But if you pick the right coins, well, you could be looking at a 5 to 10x return depending on which coin you've chosen, right? So it's no secret, one of my top picks over here has been Solana. We had this big candle on the weekly. You've essentially, that also is an inefficiency candle. You've officially filled that fair value gap, right? You've filled the fair value gap. If this plays out the measured move target, Solana could provide you with a 78% move. Fundamentally, it's one of the strongest of the strongest coins out there. And I like the opportunity for this. This doesn't mean that I'm a perma bull on Solana and I think it's going to change the world. It just means that for the rest and duration of this cycle, I think it's been a strong coin and it's a good pick to make profits into the end of the cycle. At the end of the day, I will be taking my profits from every single coin, including Bitcoin, and moving fully into a cash position when the cycle nears its end, right? So just keep that in mind. If you look over here on Solana that was the weekly time frame. Here's your daily time frame. It's got some work to do, right? Of course, it needs to clear above these levels. You can see the significance of where these wicks were forming and the selling pressure came in, and that was also where your previous top was. So as an obvious range high, this is your range high, this is your range low, and this was your mid-range where you found some support. Now, it's not out of the question that you could spike down one more time below that 220. That is a possibility, but I think it's more likely that you'll probably hold these lows over here, chop about a bit more, and then over the coming days and weeks, you'll find some sort of a higher low, ranging, getting back above the top of the range high, reclaim, of course, above 260, and then that's it. That's where you start to get that measured move. We can already look at the trading range over here and work out based on the trading range. where could price go? And then we can see how it lines up with the other trajectory, right? So $348 over there. And this one we have a little bit higher, but this is based off of a cup and handle, which is a higher price target. So conservatively, I would say, from current levels over here, you can be looking at 46%. That's a conservative target. The more aggressive target would be the full play of this cup and handle formation, where you're looking at about 423, and then we can reevaluate from there, right? It all depends on how much hype comes into the market. Speaking of which, let's have a look at hype, right? Hype is another one of the coins that we've recently flipped bullish on, and we're still waiting for that confirmation daily candle close above $25, which will most likely initiate the next move up. And I would expect that this is going to move into price discovery at some point. So conservative target from current levels, I'm looking at about a 77% move into the 1.618 fib extension, which is 46. Now, Hype is a decentralized perpetual trading platform where they generate fees. This is one of the metrics that we can utilize to try and value it. And the fees recently just flipped Ethereum, right? That is as of today. The fees on Hype have just flipped the fees on Ethereum, which is moving it up through the ranks, right? Attention is on Hype. So the daily close above here will probably confirm the move. I already started to scale into position on these candle lows around the range low over here. I would like to build a bigger position, move some more cash into this position if we start to get the daily candle closes above 25. So make sure that you are, of course, watching the show each and every single day. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Also go through to the link below. Follow me on my socials over here so that you don't miss a thing, right? Of course, I do have X and I do have Instagram. These are the official accounts. Just keep in mind, guys, as well, if anyone does reach out to you from these platforms, please be very, very, very careful. I will not trade your capital for you. It's a scammer, right? The easiest way to not get scammed is don't give your money to anyone, right? Don't ever send your crypto to anyone and you won't be scammed. Okay, so that's Hype. Hype is looking good over there. What else do we have? We can have a look at a couple of others. There is still work to be done over here. The Phantom Bulls, this is what your prayers should be tonight. Your prayer should be that you can reclaim 62 cents, right? So altogether, pray to the bulls. If you get this deviation over here above this level over here, Phantom might have the opportunity to start to run it back. Otherwise, this is still a strong downtrend. That is really the level to reclaim, is the dotted line that I have running across here. It's a 6170. I know that it's now called Sonic, but there's no price issue over here, so we can't really chart it. So we're still focusing on this, which is still trading, right? Phantom, at least on Kraken, is still presenting a price chart that has all the history, which is a good thing. All right, what else? What else have we got, guys? Let's have a look at a couple of others over here, see if there's any outliers, anything major that stands out. I know Injective is coming into the bottom of the trading range as well. So there could be a potential opportunity over here. In the short term, this is still downtrending, lower lows and lower highs. But if you're treating this as a range, well, this is definitely your range low. So a little bit of patience is warranted, right? If it puts in another lower high, it could sweep this level. But all you need to do is patiently just wait to see some signs of strength, right? A couple of high lows forming over there, and then you could trade this back to the top side of the trading range. So there are definitely trade opportunities. If you are a low time frame trader and you're a scalper and you're looking for in-out trades, remember the Whale Room Discord does offer that, right? Our traders in here, most specifically, it will be Farouk, who you probably want to follow at that point. He is trading quick in-out trades. Like you can see this trade from yesterday on Solana, 64% up, right? So there are trades over there for the short-term traders, high time frame traders. You can just pretty much follow what I'm saying on the show, as well as in the group for additional alpha. So that is Injective. What else do we have? We have Casper. Let's talk about Casper a little bit, right? Casper is still range bound, definitely frustrating a lot of people, myself included. Of course, I have a normal allocation, probably 3 to 4% of my portfolio in Casper. I have highly considered, repositioning this Casper position into Hype, and I may still do that. Stay tuned until the end of the bull cycle to find out if I do that. But what this suggests over here is strength will start to come back in if you can hold above 14 cents. It's been plagued with this area for quite some time. If you can, then you're looking at this move, right? If you can't, well, expect that it might sweep even the bottom of the range level again one more time. Goku is on fire from Megalux Trading. Let's have a look at Goku. Goku's presented. Most of the whale remembers that got in earlier. Remember, we dropped this in the DGen call section. I think you guys have done like a 50 to 70x over here. I wrote this a couple of days ago. The chart's insane. Studied a lot of memes before, and this is how big memes are formed, right? Level to reclaim. So it's still holding above that. Multiple daily candle closes above this level. It should soon, as soon as it breaches through this 30-cent region, I think it should expand to about, or when I say 30 cents, I mean 0.03. Then you should get expansion up to almost the 5-cent region for Goku. So this is probably my favorite meme on the market right now, especially at $26 million market cap. It's looking very, very, very good. All right, what else do we have? What else do we have, guys? Let me know in the comments. How long have we been on the show? 35 minutes. Let's take a couple of chart requests over here. And also smash the like button. Smash the like button. Let's look at Render. There's a question around Render. How is some of this AI sector doing? Let's have a quick peek at Render. These coins bouncing too. It's almost hit the range low. I would probably wait on Render. If I was looking to get a Render position, I'd really like to see the sweep of this $5 and then the reclaim, right? Just like you had this area deviate. You'd be looking for something similar. So, with a lot of these altcoins, you definitely want to be taking those profits when you reach the range highs, because they keep round tripping back down to the bottom of the trading range. So you'll probably only really see most of these altcoins break out in proper trends when we actually get the Fed changing their terminology, right? So they will continue. If you look over here again, let's go back to that wording. Okay, I've lost it over here. I'll have to look for it. There we go. We need to see the change over here from this. They'll continue to reduce their holdings. We need to see this reduce word pivot and switch into something else. That's when we know that alts are going to run very, very well, and you probably break out the top of the trading range. Until then, it's a trading range, right? And you can still make a lot of money like that. One of the top coins has been Mantra. It continues to show strength over here. This one's probably going to make its move up to about $7.28. Remember to use a stop loss if you are trading things like this. It seems super controlled, right? Which would work in your favor if you're running the long side, but super controlled means that eventually maybe they're going to start to distribute, and you want to identify when that distribution takes place. For now, Mantra looks super, super, super strong, and it's without a doubt being one of the leading coins. I'm pretty sure if you look over here on the crypto chart over here, let's just click that, and you go over like a year, there it is. See, I knew it. Mantra would be standing tall amongst them all. 1,796% over a year. Very, very, very strong coin over there. Okay, I am seeing a bit of a bounce over here in the rest of the real world sector. You can look at checks, possible high low, right? Shintai network under real world assets, possible high low over here. You can confirm that high low if you even get one single daily candle close above 54 cents. Then you can expect Shintai is going to take a move up to about 78 cents, and then after that, possibly beyond, right, into price discovery. I am a holder of checks, right? I do have checks. I have a small position of checks. Okay, super. Let's have a look actually at the gaming sector, because this has been one of the hardest hit. Super. Let's quickly look at Super Farm. There it is. Is it called Super Farm still? I don't know. Okay, so it's lost this level over here. That was a key important zone. This had an absolutely monumental move towards the upside. Let's clean this chart up a little bit. Let's pull out our fib. Let's double check where some of the key levels are. So you're already at the, let's put on just the 786. Where's that? There we go. So you're coming into towards the 786. Sometimes this is a stop and reversal point, but I would wait for a proper reversal of the trend if I were trading this. I think one area of interest would be look for the reclaim of $1.16, which is the range high level. Otherwise, this realistically could easily bleed back out towards the bottom of the trading range over here. And I do think this is a good pick for if you want exposure to the gaming sector and you think that it's going to do well. If you do get something like that, that's probably not a bad zone, right? To reaccumulate. Okay, so Superverse, that's what it's called. Yeah, Superverse. Okay, let's see what else, guys. Checking the chat over here. Just drop your comments. I'm having a look over there. I also want to look in terms of the gaming sector at Prime was one of the top ones. Had this one hold up. So this one's back in the zone. Let's clean this up a bit. Let's just remove the fib levels. There we go. We said previously that, off of the trade from here, from the bottom, that was the TP zone. So if you took that trade, it was a great trade. 111%, you could have taken your profits, like we said. And now you're pretty much back into what's theoretically an entry zone. I don't like to break the bodies of the candles, but this was the line of best fit, and you can see that there was a bit of a reaction over there. Horizontals are always the most important thing, as we discussed yesterday in Whale School. A lot of you learned a bunch of new things over there. So it is decent. I just don't like breaking, the bodies of the candle. So maybe it's something better like that. Just redraw the trend line, started from there. Horizontals are the most significant. I don't expect V-shaped recoveries from here, but watch for something like that, right? In the coming days, put this on your watch list. If you find support around, between about $8.50 and $9, probably a decent zone to keep an eye and look for possible entry for the longer term. Okay, very important though as well. I don't want to necessarily encourage people to over-invest or over-trade altcoins. At the end of the day, they're still bleeding, right? They're still bleeding against Bitcoin. There's easy trade opportunities on Bitcoin. We're taking them all the time. And we've literally shown you why Bitcoin is most likely about to break out. If you look at Bitcoin as well on the 4-hour time frame, and this is a great time frame to utilize when trying to find the start of a trend, right? We nailed exactly, we missed it by a cent or so. So like 0.35%, right? The entry over there was at $98,000. That was the trade. Bump and run, come back into this key level, hold the 200 EMA, which we did, hit the 50-day moving average, which came, I think, exactly into that zone. There it is, 50-day moving average, bang on, smash that over there. And now you're looking for the reclaim of the top side of the trading range. The significance of this is on the 4-hour time frame. Of course, low time frames will transition before the high time frames. So you want to watch these low time frames. The fact that we're seeing Bitcoin on the 4-hour time frame starting to break above the breakdown level is a good sign, right? We need to see a bit more action over here, and you're probably going to hit this 107 and then maybe have one more pullback into the moving averages as they rise up over here. And then that's kind of your best opportunity to get an early entry before the breakout. The breakout and start of a new trend will be confirmed when candles close above the top of the trading range, right? At that point, you can say you've cleared this very, very, very vital and important $107,000 level. And then you're making your move up to 120 to 125, which is perfectly in alignment with the Bollinger Band width percentile expanding, right? As well. So get ready for the position, right? Get ready. Join into Whale School. Remember, guys, please jump into Whale School. We've opened up for the first 100 people. So use the KSEX link that's below. That is your ticket. That's your entry, right? Just sign up, make a small deposit on there, and you get 0% maker and taker fees. Make sure that you're also following me on X. Make sure that you're following me on Instagram. I'll update whenever I make any sort of massive decisions to exit the market. So all the links are here below. That is it. Let's catch up again tomorrow. I hope you have an absolutely stellar day, and we'll catch up soon. Cheers for now.